Everyone had given up on him. A once energetic and happy dog, now motionless, waiting for the inevitable. The shelter staff had already made their decision. He was scheduled to be put down. But then, an 8-year-old girl walked in, and within minutes, she saw something no one else did. And that one moment changed everything. This is the story of a little girl with a big heart and a paralyzed dog that the world had already written off. It's about second chances, the power of a child's intuition, and a discovery that defied all expectations. What did she see that the experts missed? And how did it save the dog's life? Stick around, because this is a story you won't forget. Rex wasn't always like this. There was a time when he ruled the park, his paws barely touching the ground as he raced across the grass, his ears flapping like little wings, his eyes sparkling with the thrill of the chase. Kids laughed as they threw balls, and he would sprint after them like his life depended on it. He was the kind of dog that never seemed to get tired, never seemed to slow down. But all of that changed at a single night. It was just another quiet evening. The sun had already dipped below the horizon, leaving behind streaks of orange and purple across the sky. The Johnsons, Rex's owners, were inside, finishing up dinner. No one noticed when the gate to the backyard swung open. Maybe it wasn't latched properly. Maybe the wind pushed it just enough. Or maybe Rex, restless and full of energy, saw an opening and bolted. Whatever the reason, he got out. At first, it was just another adventure. The world outside his yard was a playground, and Rex was free. He sniffed at every tree, chased after moths flickering under streetlights, and patted his way down the quiet suburban road. But then came the sound, a distant roar, growing louder by the second. Rex paused, ears perked, headlights cut through the darkness. A car, fast, too fast, and then impact. No one saw exactly what happened. The driver didn't stop. By the time Rex was found the next morning, he was lying by the side of the road, barely breathing. His once powerful legs, the same legs that had carried him through endless games of fetch, were still lifeless. The vet's office smelled like antiseptic and sorrow. Rex lay on the cold metal table as the doctor ran his hands along the dog's spine, pressing gently, looking for a response. Nothing. X-rays confirmed the worst. His spine had taken the brunt of the impact. The nerves were damaged, maybe permanently. There was a slim chance he could regain some movement, but the odds weren't in his favor. Mrs. Johnson clutched her husband's hand. There has to be something we can do. The vet sighed. He had seen this before. There are treatments, but they take time. Physical therapy, hydrotherapy, it's expensive. And even then, there's no guarantee. The Johnsons loved Rex. He wasn't just a pet, he was family. But the reality hit hard. They had 2 young children, both in school. Medical bills, mortgage payments. They weren't rich. And Rex needed round-the-clock care. For weeks, they tried. They bought a special harness to help him walk. They massaged his legs. They even looked into wheelchairs for dogs. But Rex wasn't getting better. Worse, he was giving up. He stopped eating as much. He barely lifted his head when they walked into the room. His tail, once a blur of excitement, now barely moved. One night, after the kids had gone to bed, the couple sat at the kitchen table in silence. Finally, Mr. Johnson spoke. Maybe we should look for a place that can take him, somewhere that can give him the care he needs. His wife's eyes welled with tears. Like where? He hesitated before answering. A shelter. She flinched at the word. Some shelters have special programs, he continued. Maybe they can find someone who. We're just going to give up on him. I don't know what else to do. His voice was quiet. Deep down, she knew he was right. Keeping Rex meant neglecting other parts of their life. The kids needed their parents, too. And so, with heavy hearts, they made the call. Rex was placed in the back seat, wrapped in his favorite blanket. The kids hugged him one last time, their small hands gripping his fur, their faces buried in his neck. It's not goodbye, Mrs. Johnson whispered, but she wasn't sure if that was true. When they arrived at the shelter, a worker greeted them with a sympathetic smile. We'll do our best to find him a home. But the moment they left, the reality set in. This wasn't a fancy rehab center. It was an overcrowded, underfunded shelter doing its best with limited resources. And Rex wasn't what most people were looking for. People came in every day, searching for puppies, young dogs, energetic companions. No one wanted a dog that couldn't walk. Days turned into weeks. At first, the staff tried. They posted about him online, hoping someone would see past his disability. They placed him in a foster program for a short time, but the family returned him after just 2 weeks. He's too much work, they had said apologetically. And so, Rex sat in his kennel, alone. Shelters work on a simple rule. Space is everything. when new dogs arrive, decisions have to be made, and senior dogs, sick dogs, injured dogs, they were always at risk. The staff hated it. They hated playing God, but sometimes there was no other choice. Rex's name moved higher on the list. It wasn't immediate. At first, it was just a discussion. We'll give it another week, one worker said. Maybe someone will take him. Another week passed. 3 more days. The staff didn't want to admit it, but they had started avoiding his kennel. Looking into his eyes felt like an accusation, like he knew what was coming, and maybe he did. Rex wasn't stupid. He noticed the way people stopped trying to coax him out of his cage. He noticed the pity in their voices. He noticed how quiet it got around him. He stopped eating altogether, and that's when they made the decision. Tomorrow, they would put Rex down. They told themselves it was the kindest option. No more suffering, no more waiting. They tried to believe it, but then came Lily. Lily was 8 years old and had been waiting for this day for weeks. Her parents had finally agreed she could adopt a dog for her birthday. She walked into the shelter, her small fingers wrapped around her mom's hand, her eyes wide with excitement. Other kids would have run straight to the puppies, but not Lily. She moved slowly, peering into each kennel, watching, observing, and then she stopped in front of Rex's cage. He didn't bark, he didn't wag his tail, he just lay there. Most people would have walked right past, but not Lily. She saw something the others had missed. She saw hope. At this point, Rex was hours away from being put down. The staff had already made the decision, but Lily wasn't about to let that happen. She saw something no one else did, and what she did next, it changed everything. Lily had always seen the world differently. While other kids ran after butterflies, she wondered where they were going. While they giggled at puppies chasing their tails, she watched their ears, their eyes, their movements, searching for what they weren't saying. She had never been one to follow the crowd, so when her parents took her to the shelter that morning, expecting her to choose a bouncing, energetic puppy, she surprised them. She walked past every excited bark, every wagging tail, every pleading whimper, until she saw him. Rex wasn't like the other dogs. His eyes weren't full of excitement or hope. They were dull, tired, like someone who had already decided that life had nothing left to offer. He lay still, barely reacting as Lily knelt in front of his kennel. Her mother hesitated. "Honey, maybe we should keep looking." But Lily wasn't listening. She pressed her small hands against the bars, staring at Rex as if trying to see inside his mind. "What's wrong with him?" The shelter worker sighed. "His back legs don't work anymore. He got hurt, and now he can't walk." Lily's eyebrows scrunched together. "Can't walk?" The worker nodded. "We tried different treatments, but there's nothing we can do. He doesn't respond anymore." Lily glanced back at Rex. She didn't see a dog who had given up. She saw a dog who was waiting. But for what? "Can I go inside?" The worker hesitated. Rex wasn't dangerous, but he also wasn't social. He barely responded to humans anymore. Still, there was something about Lily, the quiet confidence in her voice, the way she wasn't afraid to look beyond what was obvious. "All right." The gate creaked open. Lily stepped inside and sat down next to Rex, cross-legged, her small hands resting on her knees. She didn't speak. She didn't reach out. She just sat there. And for the first time in weeks, Rex noticed someone. At first, he stayed motionless. His breathing was slow, his eyes half-lidded. But then, he lifted his head. It was barely noticeable, just the faintest movement. But Lily saw it. Her heart thumped. Then, as she slowly reached out her hand, something even more incredible happened. Rex tried to move. It wasn't much, just a tiny shuffle of his front paw. But to Lily, it was everything. The shelter worker sighed. "Honey, I know you want to help, but he's..." "No," Lily interrupted. "He's not paralyzed. He's just scared." Her voice was so certain, so firm, that the worker hesitated. Lily's fingers brushed lightly along Rex's spine. At first, nothing happened, but then there it was. A twitch. The worker's eyes widened. "That's strange." Lily turned to her parents. "We have to take him home." Her mother bit her lip. "Sweetheart, taking care of a dog like Rex will be hard. He needs special care." "Are you sure?" Lily looked back at Rex. His eyes had changed. They weren't empty anymore. They were watching her. "I'm sure," she said. And just like that, everything changed. The shelter workers gave Lily's parents all the information. "He'll need help moving, special food, therapy, if you can afford it." Lily's father hesitated. "Are you sure we can handle this?" But Lily didn't hesitate. "He can walk again," she said firmly. "He just needs someone to believe in him." The ride home was quiet. Rex lay curled in the back seat, his head resting against Lily's lap. She stroked his fur gently, whispering to him. When they arrived, she helped carry him inside. setting him down on a soft blanket in the living room. For the first time in weeks, Rex wasn't in a kennel. He was home, but the real work was just beginning. The first few days were tough. Rex barely moved. Lily would sit beside him for hours, encouraging him, trying different ways to get him interested in food, in play, in life. Her parents watched, waiting for the moment when she'd get frustrated, when she'd realize it was too much work. That moment never came. Instead, every morning before school, she'd wake up early to gently massage his legs, whispering, "You can do this, Rex. I know you can." Every afternoon, she'd try different exercises, rolling a toy just a little out of reach, holding up treats to make him stretch. And one night, something happened. Lily was lying next to Rex on the floor, tracing circles on his fur, when he suddenly lifted his head. His ears twitched. Then, his front legs shifted. And then, he dragged himself closer to her. Lily gasped, "Mom, Dad." He moved. Her parents rushed over. They saw it with their own eyes. For the first time since his accident, Rex had tried, but not everyone believed in him. Lily's father still had concerns. "Lily, even if he tries, he may never walk like he used to." "I don't care," Lily said. "He just needs to believe he can." Even the vet was skeptical. "This kind of recovery is rare. He might improve a little, but I don't want you to get your hopes up too much." But Lily wasn't listening. Every day, she worked with him. She found old pillows and turned them into a small support system for him to lean on. She read books on physical therapy. She even made a small harness out of scarves, gently lifting his body so he could feel what it was like to stand again. And then, one afternoon, something miraculous happened. Lily had been playing with Rex outside, rolling a ball just a little away from him. He had been making progress, using his front legs to drag himself, showing more energy than ever before. But this time was different. This time, when she tossed the ball, he tried to stand up. It was just for a second, a brief, wobbly, uncertain second. But then, his hind legs twitched. He collapsed almost instantly. But Lily saw it. She screamed in excitement, "Mom, Dad!" He tried to stand. Her parents rushed outside, just in time to see Rex lift his head, his eyes burning with determination. He wasn't done fighting. Over the next few weeks, Rex continued to improve. At first, he could only hold himself up for a moment, then a few seconds, then an entire minute. Lily recorded every tiny victory. The first time he took an actual step, she cried. The first time he stood long enough to eat without falling over, her parents clapped. And then, one morning, something unbelievable happened. She was sitting on the porch when Rex suddenly pushed himself up, fully up, and then he took a step, then another, then another. By the time Lily's parents came outside, they found their daughter laughing and crying at the same time as Rex wobbled his way toward her. And when he reached her, his tail wagged. For the first time in forever, the shelter was firm in their decision. "Sweetheart, we know you mean well, but Rex isn't getting adopted," the shelter worker said gently. "He needs too much care. It's not fair to keep him here when what?" Lily interrupted. Her voice was steady, but there was a tremble in her hands. "When you could just put him down instead?" Her mother placed a hand on her shoulder. "Lily, I know this is hard, but we can't save every dog." "I don't want to save every dog," Lily said, her voice cracking. "I just want to save him." Her father sighed. "Honey," Lily turned to him desperately. "Dad, please. I'll take care of him. I'll do everything. Just give him a chance. Please." The shelter staff exchanged glances. They had seen kids beg for pets before. Kids who promised to walk them every day, feed them, love them. But this was different. There was something raw in Lily's voice. Something real. The head shelter worker exhaled. "All right," she said slowly. "We'll make a deal. You can foster him for 2 weeks. If he doesn't show improvement, we'll have to reconsider." It wasn't the full victory Lily wanted, but it was enough. She nodded. "Deal." Rex didn't react when they brought him home. He lay still on the blanket in the corner of Lily's room, barely lifting his head as she stroked his fur. Her mother watched from the doorway. "Sweetie, he might not." "He will," Lily said, cutting her off. "He just needs time." The first night, Lily barely slept. She lay beside Rex, whispering to him, telling him stories about all the things they would do together. "We'll go to the park," she murmured, "and I'll teach you to chase a ball again. You'll run. I know you will." Rex didn't move. The second day was worse. Lily placed a treat just out of his reach, hoping he might try to get it. Nothing. She tried massaging his legs, helping him stretch. Still nothing. By the third day, doubt began creeping in. Her parents saw it too. "Lily, maybe the shelter was right," her father said gently. "Maybe this isn't something we can fix." But Lily's jaw tightened. "No, I feel it. He's not broken. He's just scared." Her father sighed, rubbing his face. "I know you want this, but sometimes wanting something isn't enough." Lily clenched her fists. "I won't give up on him." On the fourth day, something changed. Lily sat in front of Rex, holding a small piece of chicken in her hand. She placed it a few feet away, just like before. "Come on, Rex," she whispered. "You can do this." Silence. Then he moved. It was slow, painfully slow. His front paws dragged forward, his body trembling with effort. His back legs remained limp, useless behind him. But he was trying. Inch by inch, he pulled himself forward. Lily's heart pounded. "You can do it, boy," she encouraged, barely breathing. Rex let out a soft whimper, but he kept going. His claws scraped against the floor as he inched toward the treat. And then, after what felt like an eternity, he reached it. Lily gasped. Tears filled her eyes as she dropped to her knees. "You did it, Rex. You did it." Her parents rushed into the room at the sound of her voice. "What happened?" her mother asked. Lily turned, eyes shining. "He moved. He moved." Her father knelt beside her, watching as Rex licked at the treat, exhausted but victorious. For the first time in forever, there was a flicker of life in his eyes. It was small, it was fragile, but it was there. That night, Lily didn't sleep at all. She lay beside Rex, running her fingers through his fur, whispering over and over again, "I knew you could do it." The next morning, she didn't waste any time. She asked her parents to take her to the store, where she bought soft bandages and a makeshift harness. "If his back legs won't work yet, I'll help him," she told them. Her father hesitated. "Lily, this is a lot for an 8-year-old. She looked up at him, fierce determination in her eyes. "I'm not giving up." That was the end of the discussion. Every day, Lily worked with Rex. She wrapped soft towels under his belly, helping lift his weight, so he could feel what it was like to stand again. At first, he wobbled, fell, whimpered, but Lily never let him quit. "You can do this," she told him. "You just have to believe it." Some days were hard. Some days, Rex refused to try. But Lily never stopped believing, and neither did Rex. Weeks passed. Rex had gone from dragging himself, to standing with support, to standing on his own, if only for a few seconds. Then came the day everything changed. Lily sat in the backyard, the sun warming her skin, Rex lying beside her. She held up a ball. "Rex, you know you want it," she teased, tossing it just a few feet away. He huffed, ears twitching, and then he moved. Not just dragging, not just shifting, he pushed himself up. Lily sucked in a breath, then one step, then another. He wobbled, almost fell, but then he caught himself. Her heart slammed against her ribs. He was walking, not perfectly, not fast, but he was walking. Tears blurred Lily's vision. "Mom, Dad, come quick." Her parents ran outside, and there, in the golden glow of the afternoon, Rex took another step, and then, for the first time in forever, he wagged his tail. Her mother gasped, hands flying to her mouth. Her father let out a stunned laugh. "I don't believe it." But Lily believed. She had believed from the start. That night, as Rex lay beside her, Lily rested her forehead against his. "I told you," she whispered. Rex let out a small, content sigh and nudged her hand with his nose. He wasn't just a sheltered dog anymore. He wasn't just a dog who had been abandoned, discarded, left to fade away. He was Rex, and he had fought for his second chance. Because an 8-year-old girl had refused to give up, the adoption papers were signed on a bright, crisp morning. Lily's hands trembled as she gripped a pen, pressing her name carefully onto the dotted line. She wasn't just taking home a pet, she was making a promise. Rex wasn't just another sheltered dog anymore. He was family. The shelter staff gathered around, watching in awe. The same dog they had once believed had no future was now standing proudly beside the little girl who had saved him. One of the workers, the same one who had told Lily that Rex wouldn't get better, wiped away a tear. "I've never been happier to be wrong," she admitted. Lily just smiled. He was never broken. He just needed someone to believe in him. Her father signed the final paper, and with a single nod from the shelter director, it was official. Rex was going home. From the moment they stepped through the front door, Rex knew this wasn't just another temporary stop. This was home. At first, he was hesitant. His paws patted carefully across the hardwood floor, his ears flicking back as he took in his new surroundings. But Lily was there, right beside him, just like she always had been. "This is your bed," she said, patting a soft, cushioned mattress near her own. "And these are your toys." Rex sniffed at a stuffed bear, then at a squeaky ball, his tail giving the smallest wag. Lily's mother chuckled. "I think he approves." That night, as Lily climbed into bed, she expected Rex to settle on his new mattress. Instead, He padded over to her, hesitated for a moment, then gently rested his head on the edge of her bed. Lily's heart swelled. She reached down, running her fingers through his fur. "I love you, Rex." The dog let out a soft, content sigh, his eyes slowly drifting shut. For the first time in a long time, he was safe. He was loved, and he knew it. The days that followed were filled with firsts. The first time Rex played fetch again, wobbly, a little unsure, but determined. The first time he barked with excitement at the sound of Lily's voice. The first time he ran, not as fast as before, not as smooth, but with a joy that no one could deny. And every time he stumbled, every time he hesitated, Lily was there to remind him, "You can do this." Soon, it wasn't just Lily's family that noticed the change in Rex. It was the whole neighborhood. One afternoon, while Lily and her mother were walking Rex at the park, a woman stopped them. "Is that the same dog from the shelter?" she asked, eyes wide. Lily grinned. "Yep." The woman crouched down, watching as Rex wagged his tail, nudging Lily's side affectionately. "I heard about him," the woman admitted. "They said he wouldn't make it." Lily's smile didn't waver. They were wrong. Word about Rex spread. Shelter workers began telling his story to other families who were hesitant about adopting disabled pets. "Have you heard about Rex?" they would say. "The dog who couldn't walk, but now runs with his best friend?" And slowly, people began to listen. One by one, families started adopting animals they might have once overlooked. The three-legged dog, the blind cat, the senior pup who had spent years in a kennel waiting for someone to love him. All because of Rex, all because of Lily. And soon, Lily and her mother were invited back to the shelter to speak to other children, to show them that love could change everything. Lily stood in front of a small group of kids, Rex sitting proudly beside her. "Sometimes," she told them, "you just have to believe in something, even when no one else does." Rex nudged her hand, his tail thumping against the ground. "And sometimes," she continued, "that belief can change everything." As the seasons changed, so did Rex. His steps grew steadier, his tail wagged more freely. His eyes, once filled with fear, now sparkled with life. He became Lily's shadow, following her everywhere, to the park, on car rides, even to school for show and tell. We sat patiently as Lily told her classmates his story. The teacher wiped away tears. "I think we could all learn something from Rex," she said. That night, when Lily curled up beside him, she whispered, "You're my best friend. You know that?" Rex let out a soft huff, licking her cheek. She giggled. "I'll take that as a yes." Years passed. Lily grew, and so did Rex. His fur turned gray around his muzzle. His steps, though still determined, became slower. But through it all, they remained inseparable. And then came the day Lily had always feared. Rex had been struggling more lately, his body growing weaker. His once wobbly but eager steps had turned into short, exhausted walks. And then, one quiet morning, he didn't get up. Lily knelt beside him, her hands trembling as she stroked his fur. "Hey, buddy," she whispered. Rex opened his eyes slowly. He gave her hand the faintest nuzzle, and then, with one last breath, he was gone. Lily didn't move for a long time. Her parents knelt beside her, their arms wrapped around her. "He was a good dog," her father said softly. Lily wiped her tears, her voice shaking. "No," they looked at her. "He was the best dog." And she meant it, because Rex wasn't just a dog. He was her dog. He was the miracle no one believed in. And even though he was gone, his story, their story, would live on, because love never truly ends. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to change a life forever. Lily had changed his, and in the end, he had changed hers too. If this story warmed your heart, make sure to subscribe for more incredible animal rescues. You won't want to miss the next one.